This is GARIS, Masculist, MGTOW flyers. That is 2 3-page essays on the themes of Masculism and MGTOW, written by and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. This is flyer number 122, entitled Don't be the only MGTOW/Masculist on campus. Description: this flyer suggests how a lone MGTOW Masculist on his campus can get his message off the ground amongst the tens of thousands of students at his university. Flyer itself. Don't be the only MGTOW/Masculist on campus. This flyer is addressed to the 20-year-old male on campus who has discovered the MGTOW/Masculist movements and is feeling frustrated because he feels he may be the only guy on campus who has these views. Now, remember, I wrote this flyer a year or two back. That's unlikely to be the case now. And when I say now, it's what? Mid-2017. I'll switch to second person to make it more personal. So if you're such a guy, what can you do about it? That is, how to arrange things that you are no longer the only MGTOW Masculist on campus. You feel that the messages, ideas of MGTOW/Masculism are critically important to men and to society in general, but no one seems to be talking about it on campus, so you're feeling rather alone because of this. Suppose you feel motivated to change this situation and you're wondering what you might do. This flyer is aimed at you. I ask myself, if I were 20 again, and I'm almost 70, and were in your situation, what might I do? I think I'd start with my friends, talking about MGTOW ideas, especially how toxic divorce has become for men, with the 1 in 4 chance that a married father, will have his life ruined by his ex-wife who cares nothing about financially massacring him in a fluffy feminist-dominated divorce court, losing his kids, house, paying child support and alimony. You feel these odds are so high that they make marriage and fatherhood way too risky, utterly unacceptable, and a moral outrage against men and hence for society, because men make up half the population. You feel a sense of burning injustice. You know that women have a maternity rejection right, but there's no para for men, another massive injustice against men, so that women can trick men into getting them pregnant, for example, lying about taking the pill, and then slamming a paternity suit on him to force him to pay for her kid that he never wanted in the first place. You look around campus and you see men being demeaned left and right by fluffy feminazi bitches who don't give a shit about the welfare of men. They behave like children, placing all the blame for women's inferior status on men, instead of facing up to the reality that women play a large part in the creation of their lower status. So I'd start talking with my friends about all this, and after a while, imagine, I have a small group of like-minded friends who watch / listen / read to MGTOW/Masculist videos, essays, etc. We exchange links to videos and recommend particularly good, bitey ones. After a few months, we become quite expert in these ideas and feel the time has come to move on. My friends tell their friends, and the size of our group grows to the point of thinking it would be a good idea to arrange a more formal group and have regular meetings. So we do that. We start to put up paper flyers around campus with links to the major MGTOW/Masculist sites and a link to our group's website and an email address to our contact person for new members to contact to get info on where the meetings are held. I'd probably do this at first to avoid the possibility of having hefty butch feminazi crazies turning up to disturb the meetings, or worse, beefy male feminists who have a totally misguided idea of what MGTOW/Masculism is all about. Hopefully the group grows and grows, so that we want to use the university's facilities for our weekly, 2-weekly, monthly meetings. Then we start getting a lot more political. We put up flyers all over campus to come to these meetings, with bouncers who remove hecklers, violent types, etc. We then start giving talks to the campus-wide student body, that is a potential audience of tens of thousands of students. These talks / lectures are open to anyone, so we expect trouble. we have quite a few female masculists in the group, so we recruited the beefier ones to be the bouncers of the feminazis who show up regularly, who try to shut us down. Word is getting out on campus that MGTOW/Masculism means that fluffies won't get a man, that 2/3 of young men in the US and Japan refuse to marry and have kids, so the women on campus are getting truly scared and come to our talks, lectures in large numbers to learn what the threat is. The feminazis are truly frightened and are becoming increasingly violent and hostile at our talks. We now begin our talks with a show of female bouncer force. Either side of the stage, from the rostrum where the speaker gives his talk, is a line of beefy women. We begin our talks with a warning to the audience that we don't tolerate hecklers, and anyone who tries to disrupt the talk will be bounced. By having women do the bouncing, we don't run the risk of being accused of being violent against women. These female bouncers are quite aggressive at times, giving hard slaps to the feminazi crazies, but the strategy works. The feminazis are removed from the room, often with loud protests, which all makes for good entertainment value. A lot of people come out of curiosity just to see the fireworks. After a year of this, the word really starts to get out. Our group writes long articles for the student newspaper and the campus websites. Our numbers swell and swell. We feel the time is right to invite the local media to come to our talks, and they do come sometimes, so our ideas spread to the local community. Lately, TV crews have been turning up to our talks, and our best speakers get interviewed, thus spreading further the main ideas. Some of these TV journalists have done a really good job in presenting the ideas from a male perspective. They understand the main concepts and present them well in clear, persuasive form, thus spreading the ideas even further. The following year, we learn about a similar men's lib group in our neighbouring campus, so we arrange a meeting. We form a US statewide organisation, and other campus groups join in. We hold our first conference and invite prominent MGTOW/Masculist speakers to come and invite the broadcast media to be present. The following year, we learn of other statewide men's lib organisations, so we have a big meeting and form a national organisation, NOM, National Organisation for Men, which does for men what NOW does for women. Now that we are politically powerful and have the attention of the media, who are telling the broader public that unless the gender laws are made men fair, women will not have babies and the whole population will be wiped out within a mere century. Now that the major women's organisations are trying to fight us, which results in even more publicity for us, because we simply say to the media that men have the power to wipe out fluffies, because the supply of man-slaveable males is really drying up. And most men now realise that they don't want to be a manslave to some bloody parasitic fluffy. We then go onto campus to put moral pressure on women to study STEM, S-T-E-M, science, tech, engineering, math fields, and the professions, and not be fluffy crappers. We send out speakers to high schools around the state, trying to find talent to set up men's lib groups in every high school. That has been quite successful. Dozens of them are popping up in just the last few months in my state alone. Later, once we are huge, we will start pressuring the gender politicians to mend further divorce laws and bringing in the para. We're trying to persuade the president of our university to start up a men's studies course and to hire a men's studies professor whose task will be to write a textbook on the topic. We are full of ideas and feel the time is right for this historically important movement of men to get active, and that's what we're doing. There are still lots of passive MGTOWs on campus, but they see what the politically minded MGTOW/Masculists have already done and are beginning to change their tune. More of them are agreeing that sooner or later MGTOW/Masculists have to go public to get society to change, so that MGTOW/Masculism is no longer necessary. I think already most fluffy crapper women on campus know that if they don't become FIPs, they won't have babies, and maybe won't even get a man to sex them. They are frightened. They fear us. They can sense the ideas in the air, and that the tide is turning against them. Most women, fluffies and FIPs, have recently become much nicer to us and know most of our buzzwords like fluffy, fluffy crapper, FIP, MGTOW, masculist, para, etc. They have absorbed more than a smattering of MGTOW/Masculist ideas. They are definitely coming around. Good. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de GARIS. profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website, profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. YouTube channel name, GARIS, Masculist, MGTOW, Flyers. Ciao.